Hi, Shalom Berger here for the Koren Talmud Bavlis. We're going to be looking today at a Gemara in Berakhot on Daf Kaf Aleph Amud Aleph in Masechet Berakhot, where the Gemara it talks about an issue of halacha. Here you can see the Vilna Daf from the Koren Talmud Bavlis that includes Nikud and Pisuk. It includes punctuation and vowels. And we're going to be looking at a small piece towards the end of the daf. This is just to orient yourselves. We're going to be starting with the Koren Talmud Bavlis English, where here on this daf we see, for example, a statement, the halacha, Amar Rav Yehuda, Safek kara kriyat shma, Safek lo kara, eino chozer v'korei. That someone who is not sure whether or not he read Kriyat Shema, according to Rav Yehuda, does not repeat it. We're going to be focusing on a different opinion, on the opinion of Rabbi Elazar, where Rabbi Elazar says, Safek kara Kriyat Shema, Safek lo kara, chozer v'korei Kriyat Shema. That if you aren't sure whether or not you read Kriyat Shema, you will repeat it a second time. On the other hand, Safek hitpalel, if you're not sure whether you davened, Safek lo hitpalel, or you're not sure, perhaps you did not say Shmona Esrei, eino chozer mitpalel, you don't repeat your tefillah. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Rabbi Yochanan, on the other hand, says, Uluvai sheyitpalel adam kol hayom kulo. Were only that people were able to daven the entire day. According to Rabbi Yochanan, it would appear that, in fact, if you aren't sure whether or not you davened, nevertheless, it would be appropriate to daven, since you could daven all day, really. The questions that come up here are, why is this true? How come you should or should not say Kriyat Shema over again? Why should you or should you not be mitpalel? And of course, since this is a practical question, how does this impact on us? Under what circumstances do we repeat our tefillah or our Kriyat Shema, and when don't we? If we look here in the halacha section of the Gemara, of the Koren Talmud Bavlis, we'll see that in fact, la halacha, both according to the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch, you certainly repeat Shema, and the reason is because, that's given here is because reciting Shema is an obligation by Torah law. That since Kriyat Shema is de'oraita, we follow the dictum that Safek de'oraita l'chumra, and therefore we will in fact repeat Kriyat Shema. How about with regard to tefillah? So with regard to tefillah, the halacha is that in fact a person can repeat it, since la halacha we follow Rabbi Yochanan, who says that a person should pray the entire day, even though tefillah is not a mitzvah de'oraita. Another element that we find over here is the question of, are you obligated to perhaps introduce a new element to prayer? That maybe, ordinarily, someone should not just repeat the same tefillah he said before if he's not certain. After all, there is no biblical obligation, so Safek d'Rabbanan would be lekula, and we would avoid doing it. However, there is a possibility that if we added an idea, so we need to daven again because we have a new request, a new need that we'd like to share with God, and for that reason, perhaps it might be mutar, it might be all right to pray a second time. These questions are open to other interpretations. So, for example, the Tosfot Harash here in the notes in the Gemara points out that it's possible that there's a different reason why it's more obvious that Shema need be repeated, because, for example, Kriyat Shema includes the acceptance of the yoke of the kingdom of heaven. It's Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim. Perhaps Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim is such an essential issue that we can't possibly miss the opportunity to repeat Shema. Tefillah, on the other hand, involves all kinds of other questions. If, in fact, Tefillah is midrabanan, so why did the Chachamim set it up this way? So the Gemara earlier in Masechet Brachot does discuss this question and raises two possibilities. Are tefillot keneged avot? Do we daven the way we do because we find that the patriarchs did, that Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov did? Or perhaps we do that in order to parallel the avodah, the temple service, avodata korbanot. This issue may play an important role here as well, because it's within the realm of possibility that depending on what the reason is for davening, adding an extra tefillah may or may not present a larger question, something that is raised here in the Rishonim and in Rav Hai Gaon. So, what we've seen over here is, lahalacha, we repeat certainly Kriyat Shema if we're not sure whether or not we said it. Tefillah is a more open question, and these are things that are practical, so it's important to know how exactly it is that we paskin. What I would like you to do for homework, first of all, is to review the short piece that we read in order for you to make sure that you can read it, whether a chavruta or in class, to answer a couple of simple questions. Well, what do we do? Do we repeat tefillot or not? If you're not sure that we fulfill the mitzvah, and also the question that we ask, think about what it means, whether Chazal established tefillot keneged korbanot or keneged avot. How might that impact on the questions that we raised in Shir? So take a look at the Gemara. First of all, at the English if necessary, but then also in the Gemara with Nikud and Pisuk, if that is helpful to you, in order that you should be able to read it. Take a look again at the questions that we raised. This was Shalom Berger for the Koren Talmud Bavlis.